Around the age of 12, I began to believe that I was transgender. This belief was not organic. All the media I consumed as a kid showed me how stupid and vulnerable being a girl was. All the sexualized images of women gave me an unrealistic expectation of womanhood.
I hope y'all listening. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our Labor Day weekend sale, 25% off the entire store. That means everything on the store. Just so you know, the discount will apply at checkout. You may not see it here. As soon as you go to checkout, it will apply. Look, somebody just bought one of those police officer shirts. Fathers Matter is on there. All of our new stuff is on there. Everything on the store. All those favorite stuff that you've been wanting, 25% off, Labor Day weekend. Also, we got new stuff coming, so check them out. We got mugs. We got flags. I mean, you can go down the list. We got everything you need at The Officer Tatum Store. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Comment on this video. Share this video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a story. And I know I've been just beating this dead horse. But I want to help young people. I want to help parents. I want to help people not fall into this pitfall. Because if you listen to the mainstream media, and you listen to the politicians who have a vested interest in making sure derangement occurs and making sure progressivism occurs, Marxism occurs, the destruction of the identity of our children, which leads to dysfunctional adults, to make sure that continue to occur, they're going to tell you lies and they're not going to tell you the truth, and you're not going to hear from people who actually have been victims of parents attempting to transition them because they've been confused. If they had a little bit of help, they would have been able to figure it out before it was too late. I want you to listen to what a young woman who they tried to make into a boy, how she regretted it and said and explained how she was a victim of this gender identity stupidity. Roll the clip.
I began to believe that I was transgender. This belief was not organic. All the media I consumed as a kid showed me how stupid and vulnerable being a girl was. All the sexualized images of women gave me an unrealistic expectation of womanhood. I spent a lot of time online and quickly saw all the praise coming out of trans God on Instagram and other social media. I was a bit awkward in school and had some trouble making friends. Like many dysphoric children, I also suffer from a variety of mental health conditions, so I easily fell prey to the narrative that if I felt different and did not want to be a highly sexualized girl, I must be a boy. I obsessed over becoming a boy. I believed that all my insecurities and anxiety would magically disappear once I transitioned. The mental health professionals did not try to dissuade me of this delusional belief. I was fast-tracked into medical transition after I was diagnosed with dysphoria. In California, a child can pick their gender identity and a care provider questioning that would be considered conversion therapy. This wasn't a misdiagnosis. It was mistreatment. My parents were told that the options were transition or suicide. They complied because they were not offered any other treatment solution for my distress. My distraught parents wanted me alive, so they listened to my doctors. I was placed on puberty blockers and testosterone after expressing my gender dysphoria to my therapist, and I was approved for a double mastectomy all by the age of 15. No one explored why I did not want to be a girl. More and more kids are falling for the false promise of happiness if they transition. Gender clinics in the US are turning a blind eye to European countries who are pumping the brakes on this experiment on youth. Who here really believes that, as a 15-year-old, I should have had my healthy breast removed, or that it should have been an option? When the CDPH got less than 300 reports of people getting hospitalized as a result of vaping. San Francisco banned vape products that same year. So I know that you care about the health of children, yet you are allowing doctors all over the state to remove the healthy breasts of children. How many more children's bodies will be destroyed before you actually listen? What is the sweet spot? 100? 200? 1,000? SB 107 will open the floodgates for confused children like me to get the gender interventions that many so regret. Around the age of 12.
Now, I wish I could meet this young lady because I really want to speak to her, because my heart goes out to this young girl. She was so genuine in her explanation, and she was so victimized by people who, I don't know why they do kids like this. I don't know why we won't spend money and put effort into helping them get the treatment that they need. And people are calling these things conversion therapy. No, it's just that if your child is thinking of something like this, There's probably a way that you can explain it to them, or maybe give them the help they need because they're struggling with other mental illnesses that will not force them down a path that cannot be reversed. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, these kids are crying out. People like me are crying out for you to listen to these kids. You have to understand, when you're young, you're so malleable. And then when you get out there and people start telling you things like, you're a loner kid at school, you don't feel like you're involved, you don't feel like you have attention that you need, that you want, but if you transition and do this, you'll get all the attention that you need. But they don't talk to you about what happens when you become an adult. They don't talk to you about what happens when you hit puberty. It's cute to be transitioning for these crazy people. It's cute to be transitioning when you little. When you begin to grow up, it's not so cute anymore. I say the same thing about D-Wade's son, and y'all listen to me now. Wait about 10, 15 years. They dress him up. They try to make him look cute like a little girl. And then before you know it, when he's 15, 16, 17, he's going to be 6, 7. And no man is going to look at him and say, oh, you're a beautiful woman. His foot, he going to wear a size 20 shoe. He is not going to be attractive. He's not going to be able to fit into women's clothes. I mean, you can go down a list of the things that's going to occur with D-Wade's son that they're not prompting him for. And this young person the same way. The young person I was just talking about right here. They took away her breasts. And now that she's over it and want to be a woman, this is all destroyed. And we know that in society, a lot of women will get their breasts done. Why? Because when your breast is flat or whatever, some women may not feel like a woman. And now she wants to be a woman. She has none at all. Just imagine how she feels if she go out in a swimsuit or she look at herself in the mirror at the gym. These things play psychological issues, play a psychological factor in somebody's mind. We should not be doing this stuff to children. We need to allow them to grow up and become mature adults, and then they can make a conscious decision as to whether or not they want to do any of this stuff. But when you're telling that she got all this stuff by the age of 15, she was getting a vasectomy or whatever she said. I forget what she called it. It couldn't have been a vasectomy. She's a girl. But she was getting all of this stuff done to her by the age of 15. And I know that you guys understand me. What do you know at the age of 15? I mean, at the age of 25, I feel like I don't know nothing compared to what I know now at 35. And then when I'm 55, being a 35-year-old is like being a kid. It's like starting over from scratch. You don't know nothing at 35 compared to what you would know at 50. And you telling me a 15-year-old can make these crucial decisions, yet in our country, a 15-year-old can't drink alcohol. 15-year-old cannot own a firearm. 15-year-olds can't even drive a car. So you can't do any of these things because your cognitive responsibility isn't there. When I say cognitive responsibility, I mean the way that your brain functions, your cognition at that point is not that of a mature adult, so you can't diagnose the responsibilities that you actually have in these particular, instances. And I say the same thing, when you in the criminal process, they don't treat a 15-year-old like they treat an 18-year-old. Why? Because your culpability is different. You are treated as a juvenile. You are in juvenile court. They don't try you as an adult unless you do something extremely crazy. Then why do they segregate the age restrictions on whether a kid is tried as an adult in the criminal system, but somehow you can make a decision to transition something that's irreversible? It don't matter how much counseling you get. If you start chopping and cutting off stuff, it ain't going to grow back. You're not a lizard. It ain't growing back. It is a shame what they've done to these young people, and I wish that I could meet this girl. If you know who she is, if you got her social media, put it in the description section. I want to meet her. I want to talk to her. I want to interview on my show because her voice needs to be heard. There's so many kids out here that didn't make it to this point because they committed what aside. They didn't make it to this speech because when the going got tough and she's explaining the things that happened there, they couldn't take it and they ended their lives. They didn't make it here. I just pray to God that this young woman get a voice that everybody can hear so young people can evaluate their decision making. Like and subscribe to the channel. Take advantage of the Labor Day sale. I love you guys. See you on the next one. I'm out.